One of the people that's joined us in the studio today, Sue from Neverton Foundry,
Hello.
who has a history within, I want to call it the pan industry in Shropshire. Would that be a fair...
We are the pan industry in Shropshire.
So
That's
just
it.
for anybody that's not aware of Netherton Foundries, how did it all start for you?
Oh, goodness. It started, we'd been making stuff the other side of the world and really not liking the way that mass consumerism was going.
Right.
The prices were being driven down and the quality was going down with it, the disposability of products. So I wanted things in my kitchen that were going to last, that did the job they were supposed to do. And the only way to do that was make them ourselves.
Because, interestingly, you think about your grandparents' pans and you can remember them through your entire life and maybe them being passed on to the next generation and there still being one or two around. Now, I've got one or two pans that my mum gave me when I left home and said, oh, you'll need one of these, you'll need... She just wanted to buy a new one, the truth be known. But it's like, yeah. But interestingly now, like you run-of-the-mill saucepans, you're right in the fact that they look pretty or they match a kitchen or they match an interior. But in terms of durability, they don't have that. And when you think back to your grandparents' cutlery, nothing matched. It was about it just doing the job. Now it's about aesthetically being gold and matching this or pink and matching this. And there's a very different outlook now to kitchen products, isn't there? And how long you expect it to last.
We want to make things that are going to last. You know,
Yep.
It's all about functionality. I want something that's going to work in the kitchen, that's going to last in the kitchen, that people are going to pass on, like your mum passed on to you. There's a space for all kinds of pans in the market. You know, we're not looking for world domination, monopoly. Yeah, there's always got to be a choice. But I do think there is a space for things that are well made, that are going to last, that you're not going to throw into landfill, that aren't going to, you know, pollute the atmosphere as you make them, that are made with natural things. You know, all our stuff is recyclable, it's sustainable, there's no plastic involved. So that's really the message that we're trying to get across with our pans.
And your products, it's fair to say, are going back to very traditional in terms of what's used in the making of them and how they're made.
Absolutely. They're iron pans. They're made by hand. They really are made by hand. Anybody can go on our website and see us actually making them. We're using oak handles and the only coating on them is flax oil.
And how do I'm thinking now, a 20-something comes up to you and has a chat about your products, where they may now, as a millennial, not be of the generation where they remembered the more old traditional cooking utensils of back in the day. What reaction are you getting when you show them this product and tell them about it?
A lot of the millennials are concerned, as we all know, like Greta Thunberg, with climate change.
Yeah.
You know, they are interested. They don't want disposable product. And our best ambassadors for what we are doing are our own children who are away at university and they've got our cookware in their student kitchens. And they've got their friends saying, where did you get that from?
Yeah. So they're sort of spreading the word. And
they are spreading the word. And I appreciate that there's a whole generation out there who've got very little money. And it is a hard decision for them to make because they can go down to the supermarket or a discount store and buy a cheap and cheerful pan. And many of them will. And that's the only choice they've got at this stage in their life. But we want them to aspire that the next pan they buy will be the last pan they buy because they only have to buy it once.
It will outlast them.
That's right.
Basically.
Yes.
Events like the Shrewsbury Food Festival, how important are they for a company like yours to display and promote your products locally?
They're hugely important. I mean, Andy and Beth were kind enough to give us a bursary stand at the very first food festival. We've been there since day one.
Right.
And I stood there with a little table, and I think I sold 6 pans. But we were back next year and the year after. And this year we've got a fantastic stand. We've got a display of all our outdoor cookware as well. We met Chris Burt through the Shrewsbury Food Festival.
Right.
You know, we got to meet a lot of local chefs, a lot of local businesses, and introduce ourselves to the Shropshire public. And we're very keen on telling Shropshire that this is the kind of thing that's going on in their county.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're putting Shropshire on the international stage.
Because when you buy things, to a degree, if it's not cheap and cheerful, you're looking for a story, aren't you? To share.
Always.
So, you know, if you can say this pan was made down the road when you're sort of showing it off, it gives you that sort of ability to share that story and pass things on.
Yes.
Because there's a story behind it. So, in terms of people looking at your products, for an event like that, is it something that people look at, are aware of, maybe pick up a leaflet and contact you a later day? Or have you seen a massive growth in on-the-day sales compared to your first event?
Oh, we've got a huge growth in on-the-day sales. And the nice thing is that if you buy it at 10 o'clock in the morning when the gates open, we'll hang on to it and you can come and pick it up at 5
Like a
o'clock.
little
So you don't have
creche.
to carry it around all day.
Yeah, because they're not light, to be fair, are
They
they?
certainly are not. You know, they're not as heavy as cast iron pans, but you don't want to be carrying around all day.
Absolutely. Now, Andy, that must be a pleasing story for you to hear as somebody that's organising an event that is dependent on the retail section of the event to make it sustainable and give lots of people to look at when they're going round.
I have a simple thing about Sue and Neil's pans. If they're good enough for Nigella, then they're good enough for everybody. and the other thing on Sue and Neil's pans, when there was a sort of quid pro quo between us in the first year, so we gave them a bursary and they gave us a set of pans so that people like Liam could cook on those on the chef demonstration areas. And at the end of it, I got the pans.
Happy days.
And I use them every day.
Yeah.
And I use them every day, and they are as good today as they were. They're better today actually than they were 7 years ago because they've got a nice patina on them. So the quality that Sue talked about, it's the truth. It's not marketing. It's not sales. It's not, you know, snake oil stuff. It's just these are brilliant pans, and they cost half the price of one by a French manufacturer called something or other. And they're made here, and there's a great story, and they're made by local people using local products, and that is the point of the festival, you know. And without, I kind of think it's the other way around. Without people like Sue, and without people like Liam, and without, you know, lots and lots and lots, you know, 200 of the producers, we wouldn't be there.
The pans from Netherton Foundry, would they work on induction heaters?
Yes.
And the reason I know the answer to this is most demonstration kitchens use, and that's probably worth just exploring a little bit. So you get to do a food demo. Now, chefs and all of us are very familiar with how our kitchen appliances work, how our ovens heat up, how long it takes for the pans to heat up. I've watched a food chef put their hand in a pan to see if it's hot enough. I'm like, what are you doing, you crazy guy? How easy is it when you go to a demonstration area to work on untried and tested hardware that you're not used to?
It's like I say, Whitchurch, when I did that a couple of weeks ago, it was gas. I don't know. Other ones with Andy before, they've been induction.
Yeah.
Gas in your restaurants is still different to all of those. It really is completely different. The lucky thing I've got is I use Sue's pans.
So you've got that's your common denominator.
Yeah, that is what I use. I don't bother with any of the others because I know Sue's pans. I've been using them for so many years now.
Yeah, yeah.
Same as Andy, day in, day out, in the restaurant, wherever I am, I use Sue's pans.
Okay, I just want to mention the pan amnesty.
Yeah.
You can read about it on our Facebook page, but we've just delivered some pans to Shrewsbury Food Bank.
Right.
Because food banks are about so much more than just food donations.
Of course, you forget all
don't
about
have the kit. You know, you can give them a can of beans, but if they haven't got a tin opener and they haven't got a pan, the can of beans is no good.
Yeah.
So we've delivered some pans to the food bank, and if you've got an old pan that you don't want anymore,
Right.
You can bring it along to the food festival.
Right.
They'll let you in with a pan, bring it to us. We will do our utmost to restore that pan, and then it will have a new life with a new home through the food banks, and we'll give you a £10% discount on the
off your
purchase of a new pan.
Right, so you bring your old pans
Yep.
that can then be recycled, put to good use at the food bank,
Yep.
and it can get you some discount off your new
Yeah,
pans.
and if we can't restore it, we'll weigh it in. We won't landfill it. We'll weigh it in with the scrap merchant, and we will give the money to the food
Where did
bank.
this idea come from?
We've been talking to the food banks and seeing how we can help, and it was exploring the issues that they've got that, go
Yeah.
way beyond people not having enough to eat.
You see, it makes perfect sense when somebody says it, but you never think to yourself,